Hello and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Metal Effort. This is a riff on another YouTube channel that I've made called Mental Effort, where I talk about philosophy and politics and basically all the stuff you're not supposed to talk about at work. I've got on that channel, but this is a drastically different thing. So if you're interested in knives and EDC stuff, but you're also interested in philosophy, you can go ahead and check that channel out if you'd like. I'll put the link in the description. But this channel is dedicated to reviews, mostly of knives, but I like the idea of metal because, if I want to dabble into things like flashlights or watches or pens, I've got that option. This big giant knife, this is kind of where we all start out. Big murdery, survival type knives. And I like this knife. It's got its purpose, not to do any of the murdering things. More bushcraft / survival. If I'd done it over again, I wouldn't have bought this knife. But the 14-year-old in us has a lot of sway over the things that we're drawn to when we're first getting into knives. I can use this as an example. I'm going to be doing mostly folders, but I also want to do fixed blades. This is a fine knife. It's okay. I'll probably do a review on this knife, but this is kind of what started my knife hobby, you might say. There's other things that were a factor on it, which I'll talk about, but this is kind of the first expensive knife that I purchased. We'll leave that for later, though. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm going to be doing, I do want to do a lot of reviews, and a lot of the knives, especially I'm going to show you today, you've seen reviews for. I'm still going to do those reviews. The reason is I want to calibrate my own review style, and I think getting a fresh take on what I think of these knives will give you an idea of the kind of reviewer I am, will give you an opportunity to provide me feedback, and we'll just kind of orientate ourselves around this new channel and the knives themselves. And then hopefully I can get some fresh new sweetness later to really get excited about the new stuff coming out. To start, I want to talk about the first folder I've gotten. I had stuff when I was a kid, but since I've gotten into this hobby, this knife is silly. I basically was shopping around just for a cheap, maybe $30 knife or so. And this one really stuck out to me just mostly because of the aesthetics. I wanted a usable blade, which this does have, cutting open boxes or whatnot. Kind of looks like a Star Trek design. It's called the Deviation, a Renner design. Didn't look up his actual name, but it's a cool design. It's a $35 knife, though. It doesn't even say what kind of metal it is. Just generic stainless, I'm sure. So this scratched my itch for a while, and then as I got deeper and deeper into the science behind the metallurgy and the ways that they've been developing metal and the reasons why you would pick one metal over another really fascinates me. I think it tickles the science part of my brain as well as like the practicality of a tool. As you'll see later, I do still have an eye for the aesthetics, and I think I don't want to be, show any kind of pretense. I only need one knife. I don't need all these knives, but it's fun. And we're going to be looking at it in a practical sense, but also an aesthetic sense, and I'll try to keep the objective faults of a knife separate from just my opinion of subjective. Maybe you like it, maybe I don't, vice versa. Those are pretty obvious when they come up across our path, but I'll point it out nonetheless. This knife looks cool, has a lot to be lacking for fit and finish, literally rough around the edges. Anyway, I'll do maybe a goofy quick review on this knife one day, but for now we'll move on to just see my collection. So maybe put that over there for now. Next knife, this was a huge upgrade for me. This is immediately recognizable. It's the famous Benchmade 940. This particular model is the 940-1501. I believe it's a Knife Center exclusive, I believe. It's got G10 scales instead of the aluminum green ones that show up the snail trails. I think I like the look of this one better. I'm pretty sure I like the feel of it. I haven't, truth be told, handled a traditional 940 to know, but I know aluminum when I feel it, and I think I prefer this. The biggest upgrade is the steel, which is CPM 20 CV, which is awesome. It's like Buller's M390 and 204P from Crucible, I think. So I like this knife. This was my first real expensive pocket knife, and I'm glad I got it, and I will probably keep it. Also, this was my first knife in sharpening, and you can see I botched up that job pretty badly. I have diamond stones freehand, not like a system. I probably should have done that, but it'll take more work, more practice, but I think it'll be better in the long run to do the normal water stones and be able to do this kind of thing free-handed. So this does not have a good finish. It got sharp eventually, but I probably had to take off a lot more material than I would have needed to if I had been competent from the get-go. It's a great start. I take all my knives apart. I tried to clean them out. This has a great action with no blade play. It's pretty falsetty when you pull that access lock back. So I like this knife a lot. It's my user since I botched that sharpening job. If I need to be rough but I still want a dependable knife, I'll go for this instead of this. This I pretty much don't like using because it's painful and I don't like it, but it looks cool. Star Trek-y. Next, we've got... My camera's having a hard time there. This guy. So, PM2, probably these two knives are the most common, well-loved, just general EDC all-stars. I prefer the PM2. That's a spoiler alert, I guess. I'm going to do reviews on each of these knives so I can get some practice and you can get a fresh take on what I think about these knives. This is the M390 version, which is fantastic. I like the red. It's easy to find. You don't lose it. And very, very comfortable knife. I very much like this knife. Now, another kind of surprising knife similar to it is the Spyderco Para 3. Looking at this online, you would think it's a very small knife. You compare it to the PM2 and it's like this little miniature knife. But honestly, once I got it in my hands, it is super, super comfortable. I think this has awesome ergos, very similar to the PM2, but just the idea that I can get all my fingers on there and it's not even close to a problem is awesome. It fills the hand. I got a MXG clip. This was supposed to be bronze, and I took it out of the package and kind of wiped my finger like that, and it came off like it was wet paint. I don't know what that's about. I got that one for the River's Edge exclusive knife that I was trying to get, the Para 3 with the darker DLC. Well, not DLC, but you get the point. It was covered. Couldn't get that knife. That knife was really hard to come by. I missed the boat on the first one. I didn't even know about it in time. And then I was trying to get it on the website, and those poor guys over at River's Edge were having a hard time keeping their website open, and I unfortunately was not able to get one. But I'm happy with this one. This is the Blade HQ exclusive. I really wanted something with M4 to test it out. I heard a lot about it. I normally don't like these DLC blades, but with something that is susceptible to corrosion like M4, I think it's a good idea on this one. And then obviously I dyed the scales. This is Dye More Rit Dye, 2/3 blue, 1/3 racing red. Could not get this loop off. the lanyard loop. So I ended up dunking the whole thing and then made sure I dried it out on the inside of the scales as best I could. I actually prefer this because there's no damage on the loop and still was able to get the job done. So I really like this knife a lot more than I thought I was going to, given the size of it. Once it's in your hand, you realize it's not all that small and it's very comfortable and practical. Next up is another PM2. I've only got two. I don't know if I'm going to be getting more. I really want to get a Shaman and really put these two, the Shaman and the PM2, head to head and see, is the Shaman truly the PM2 killer? I don't want to get a vanilla Shaman. I want to get something with a cooler steel, such as this guy, which is Crewware. I really like Crewware. You're going to see another knife here in a minute that has Crewware as well. This knife came out of the box and it had garbage detent. It was like a wet noodle. I can only deploy the knife like half the time. I could drop open it rather. It was like this, and I could flick it out, and that was actually a more reliable way to open the knife than doing the normal spider flick. So I had to get in there. I lubed it up and didn't change the detent, obviously. So what I had to do is take the liner lock and I just bent it over. I'm pretty sure I'm breaking some kind of cardinal rule with that. But it fixed the knife. It opens now. It doesn't feel as good as my M390 version knife, but I'm happy enough to not like sell it or send it back in or anything like that. Still not as good, but though. This one is kind of my beatery PM2. If I'm going to do some hardcore tests between knives, I do want to do like a 940 versus a PM2. Those are like the two head-to-head ones. If I get a Shaman, I might throw that in the mix. But this is my kind of user. I want to keep the M391 in good shape if I can. All right, next. So this is awesome. So far all the knives you've seen I've purchased with my own money. This one I got on Reddit's knife raffle. I paid $20 for this small Sebenza. It was priced for like $330-ish. I bought $20 in raffle tickets and I won, which is awesome. I probably would not have got this knife on my own. I'm really happy that I won this, obviously, for the value, but I think it's important for knife reviewers to have it, or at least I'm repeating that because that's what everybody always says. So here it is. I've got it. Fate decided that I should indeed handle a Sebenza. I've got a lot to say about this knife. Similar to everything else here, I'm going to do a review. I definitely have stuff to say about it that I haven't heard other places. I've watched a lot of reviews, and I don't think any of them properly convey exactly what a Sebenza is like, at least a small Sebenza. So look for that. Really cool. I'll try to keep the idea of me getting that knife for only $20 out of my bias when I do the review. No guarantees. I'll do my best. I won a second knife on Knife Raffle on Reddit. This one's a lot nicer. I had ordered a knife from Olamic, the busker, and I was working with Eugene over there to get the final details down. And right after I confirmed that we did indeed have a knife down, the next day I entered a knife raffle and I won a busker. This is the Frosty. This is not what I ordered because this is the one I got for, again, $20. It's normally, I think you price it at like $510. And let me tell you, man, this I love the busker. Obviously, I purchased one, I ordered one, and this is why I tried to win this on the raffle. This particular busker looks 100 times better in video form in real life than pictures give it credit for. It looks awesome. The way that it plays with the light is fantastic on both sides, both colors. This is the Largo, so it's got the bigger kind of sheep's footy type blade. And this is really awesome. The thing that I was not only surprised at what it looks like, but the feel of this knife is fantastic. It gives me grip. It's not very slippery at all. It's got some texture to it that's very comfortable. There's no fingerprints. This is a very practical finish. I would imagine, I haven't got a chance to handle one, but their kinetic finish that Olamic's known for, I think would have similar properties to this, where it's going to be resistant to fingerprints. It's going to give you some grip. This one just looks a lot better than their kinetic ones, in my opinion. And I'm very pleased with this. Again, obviously a $500 knife for $20, I'm gonna like it. But even if I had paid, I would pay $500 for this knife. I think it's totally worth it. This is a really awesome one. I'm gonna do a review / comparison with my next knife I'm about to show you, which is that busker I ordered, and that'll be fun. I went from no buskers to 2 buskers. So the pride of my collection here is the busker I got from Eugene. It is this little guy right here. Let's pull that into focus. Yeah. You can see fingerprints on that Damascus. Let's clean that up a little. This is awesome. So I went for Damascus collar. I originally asked for a flush collar. He says he had it copied down on their to-do list incorrectly. And so when he sent the pictures of the finished knife, I was like, oh, bummer. Is there a way to do a flush collar like I asked for? And he's like, I'd have to do the whole knife over. And I don't like that. I don't want to put him in that position. Obviously, I'm spending a lot of money, and I would be justified in doing that. But this is good too. And ultimately, the reason I decided to keep it as is he said that structurally speaking, this maintains the integrity of the knife a little bit better. He said that they were having some problems with the flush version. Since they're doing everything by hand, they don't have a CNC machine that they're using, that this is just better for the structure of the knife. And I like the look. It's still not my preference as far as the aesthetics go, but I'll take functionality over aesthetics when it already looks so awesome. He cut me a break on it too, give me $100 off the knife for it, which is awesome. Backside, didn't do a collar on this one. That was a little too much. Damascus clip though, I think big old clip, and then you've got the inlay and the collar really helped to balance the knife out while giving it this asymmetrical look, which I like. Golden back spacer, which is awesome. I do notice it didn't get all the way down inside, like right there, but I'm okay with that. It's not a huge deal. It's hard to notice it unless you really point it out. Action's great. Got the Semper instead of the Largo. I don't want to spoil too much the video of comparing the two buskers, but I prefer this one in the pocket especially. It just gives you a lot less of a giant hump right here. Very well placed in your pocket. It's good. I like it. In case you're curious, if I didn't get the discount, this would have been about $800 for this particular configuration. So last knife I want to show you, it's another fixed blade, but one that's a little bit nicer than my SE. This is my, let's see if I can pull that into focus. There we go. The Bark River Aurora in Crewwear. I like this knife. This is an awesome knife. Again, half sharpening, half use. It's kind of messy on the blade, but it's sharp. Works great. Convexed edge. This thing batons like crazy, which I have used to do. I use this knife a lot, and I love it. This is about $300 for a big old chunk of Crewwear. Best ergonomics of a knife I've ever had. It looks like a steak knife a little bit. But it's a fantastic all-rounder in the bushcraft. It can carve, it can baton, it's got a sharp spine so I can do the fire strike, I can feather stick really nicely. This is your one size. If I could only have one knife in the wilderness, I think it would be this knife. It would be really, really just all-rounder, can do it all. It's a great knife. So there you have it. There's my modest little knife collection. I do want it to grow, and I want my reviewing abilities to grow with your help. So give feedback, negative, specific if you can, general, this sucks. Can't really do anything with that. So try to keep it constructive. If there's something you like, I'm not going to say no to that. Again, if you say something specific, then I know what to keep doing right. I want this to be a community, and I look forward to any support or advice that you have for me. This is Nehemiah with Metal Effort, and thanks for joining me.